Welcome back, ladies and gents. Today we're going to learn the guitar solos to the song Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. Okay, first we start off with a string rake of dead notes across the G, B, and E string. From there you hit 14 on the high E vibrato. Right there we have a dead note on high E, and then play 14, bend, release. From there we have the following section. Right here we're playing 15, bend fully. Pick it again at the height of the bend to release. Right there we have 14 twice on the B string. And then we're going to bar with our index finger 14 on the G and D string, and then play 14 first on the G, and then raise your bar slightly to mute the G string and play 14 on the D. Slide to 12. Vibrato. Let's take a look at the last two bars. Okay, so right here we're going to start with a dead note on the D or G string. Take your pick. And then you're going to string rake again into 14 on high E, then release. Then we have the next section. That's bend on the 15. Pick it again, release, bend. 14 on the B, 14 on the G, 14 on the D. Slide to 12, pick 11. Pick 9, slide to 7. Okay, let's take a look at the first bar in part 2. So right here we slide onto 12 on the G string. Vibrato. We play 7, 5 on the B string staccato, meaning the note is played short. That's staccato. That's not staccato. Play it staccato. 7 on the G vibrato. Then you're going to play 7 on the B string, pull off to 5. Play 5 again vibrato. Play 7 twice on the G string. Second time vibrato. Let's take a look at the last part of this tab. First we start with a downstroke on the G string, 9, pull off to 7. Then we upstroke 9 on the D string, downstroke 7, hammer on 9 on the G, slide onto 11, pick 11, bend. let's take a look at the first two bars on this tab. Okay, so we start again with a dead note either on the D or G string, take your pick, and then string rake onto a pull off from 15, 14 to 12. That's all on the E string. From there we pull off from 15 to 12 on the B string. We move on to 12 on the G and then D. From there we have the following section. Here we're going to play 10 on the D string, slide to 9. Play 10, pull off on the 9, and then slide to 7. Play 7, vibrato. And now for the last part in the tab. Here we're playing 11 on the G string, bend it, and then move on to the 9 on the G string, bend it once, staccato, and then bend it again, release, pull off 7, slide on the D string with our middle finger from 7 to 9 back to 7. When you're doing these bends and your vibratos, with the bends, be sure to be using the rest of your fingers to support the bend so that you have more strength and it feels more effortless and you have more control. And for vibratos, you want to be using your wrist to vibrate, not your finger alone, because then you don't have that much control, right? See my wrist? If I were to vibrate only with my finger, I don't have as much control. Okay, let's get started with the second solo, the first part. Let's take a look at the first 2.5 bars of this tab. So first we're going to start off with a pinch harmonic on the 7 on the G string. From there we have 9, bend, 9 again. Then we have the next section. Right there we're bending 9, release, pull off 7, 9 on the D, back to 7 on the G. Right there we have 9, 9 again, vibrato, pull off to 7, 9 on the D, and then 7 quarter bend on the G. All right, let's take a look at the next section in the tab, the ladder section. Right here, we're starting with a slide onto 11 on the G string. And then we have 10 on the B, 11 on the G, 10 on the B, vibrato. From there we have 12, and then we're going to bend fully in half, release, pull off to 10, pick 12, bend again, but this time staccato. I stopped that bend by palm muting the note. From there we move on to the next part. Right there we have 7, 9, 9 bend release, pull off 7, 9 on the D. Okay, now we're moving on to part 2 of solo 2. Let's take a look at the first 2.5 bars. Okay, so here we have a pentatonic lick. We're starting on the B string 10, we're going 10, 7, G string 9, back to 7 on the B, 9, 7, G, 9, vibrato, D string. Then we have the following section. Here we're sliding onto the A string 9, playing 7 twice on the D string. Right there we have 9 and then 7 quarter bend on the G string. Then we have 9, 7, that's pull off 9, 7 on the D. And then pinch harmonic 9 on the D string. Let's take a look at the last part of this tab. Here we're starting off with our index finger barring the 7 on the B and E string so that those two notes can ring out together. You're going to basically downstroke both notes like that. So what do we have? That's 7, 7, B and E. Then we have 9, 9 again, bend, pull off 7. We have 10, 7, 10 on the G, bend, vibrato at the top. And then lastly, those three notes, that's 10, 7 on the B, 9 on the G. Remember, keep using your fingers to support your bend so that you have more strength and control over them. This is my favorite part in the second solo, so let's dive right in. It's a very cool pentatonic lick with a little bit of chromaticism thrown in at the end. Let's take a look. First, we start off with a bend on the G string 9. From there, we have a bar with our index finger on the B and E string 7 so that we can let them ring out together. From there, that leaves our pinky free to be playing the next note, which is 10, right here on the B string. That's 10, 7 on the B, and then 9 on the G. From there, we have 9, bend, release, pull off 7, 9 with our ring finger on the D, barring also the G string, play G9, 7. See that? It's kind of awkward if you're going to try to use your pinky for that 9 note on the G, so I recommend simply barring the note and making sure you lift your finger enough so that the D string doesn't ring out. From there, it becomes pretty standard. We have 9, 7 on the D, and we have 9, 8, 7, 5 on the A string, 7 on the low E, 5 vibrato on the A string, and then we have staccato 7 on the G string, and at the third time playing it, we give it a vibrato. Here we continue on with that fun pentatonic pattern. Let's dive right into this tab. So right here, we're going to start off with a dead note, and then we're going to be playing 9 bend with our bar on the index finger B and E7. Right here, we're playing 7 on the B, 7 on the E, then back to 7. Right here, we're adding 10 pull off 7, and then 9 on the G. From there, we have a familiar pattern that's bend on the 9, release, pull off 7, play 9 with your ring finger on the D, bar G string as well, hit that 9 on the G, back to 7 on the G. From here, we have a pull off from 9 to 7 on the D string, and then on the A string, we have 9 twice at the second time, pulling off to 7, 5, then we have pull off 7, 5 on the A string, 7 low E, vibrato 5 A string, 7 on the A. And then you slide on to 7 on the A. You play 7 on the D string staccato twice, third time vibrato. Let's take a look at the first bar in this tab. Okay, so right here we have a pull off on the 9 to 7 on the D string, and then with a quarter note bend on the 7G. We're using our same index finger here to jump to the G and do that quarter note bend. That's 7 on the D, 7 on the G. Right here we have bend on the 9, barring 7 on the B and E string so that they ring out together. Then we have 10, 7, bend 9 on the G, that's 7 on the B, 7 on the G, 9 on the G, and then open note, open string G. And in the last half of this tab, we have our familiar pattern that we learned in the previous tab. The only difference here is the ending changes a little bit to enter the next section of the solo. Right there on the 5, once we hit 5 for the second time, the A string we're going to pull off to open note. Then we're going to bar the 7, D, G, and B string, and then play them together and bend them slightly. And then with our index finger, we're going to play 9 on the D, vibrato. All right, we're going to move on to part 6 of solo 2. Let's take a look at the first 2 bars here. On the last tab, we ended with 777 on the D, G, and B string with a bend, and then 9 on the D. From there, we have the following. Okay, right there we have a scratch on the strings with our right hand twice. Then we have that bar on the D, G, and B string 7 bend. Then we have our ring finger D string 9 pinch harmonic. We have again a string scratching twice. We have the bar bend and then 9 on the D string. From that 9 we have 7, 7 barring with our index finger D and G. Let's take a look at the next lick. Here we have a bend on the 9 and release on the G string. Pull off 7. We play 9 on the D, back to 7 on the G string, 9, play 9 again, and then bend. Let's take a look at the next lick. Right here we have 7 on high E string. Then move on with our pinky to the B string 10. From there we're barring B and E string 7 with our index finger. And then bend on the 10 B string. Alright, let's take a look at the first bar here in part 7. Here we have the kind of familiar lick that we're playing around with, pentatonic lick across the 7th and 10th fret right here. Let's take a look. Okay, so here we're bending on the 9 G string while barring with our index finger the 7 B and E string. That way they're ringing out together. From there we have B string 10 to 7. From there we have 9 on the G, 9 again, bend, release, pull off 7. With our ring finger we're moving to the D string 9. And then we're barring the G string as well, 9 and then 7 on the G. We move on to the D string 9, play 7 on the G. We pull off 9 to 7 twice on the D string, 9 A string, 7 D string. We have little chromatic here, 9, 8, 7, and then 5, 7 on the low E. That leaves our pinky free to play 9 on the D. And then we bar with our index finger 7 on the D and G string. Play it together. And then for the last part in this tab, here we're scratching the strings 4 times and then playing bar on the 7, D, G, and B string. Scratch the strings again. 7 barring G, B, and E, slight bend, and then 7 on the D. Okay, now for part 8, let's take a look at the first 2 bars here. So we ended on the 7 from that bend bar on the G, B, and E string. Okay, so here from that 7 vibrato, we're going to hammer on to 9 on the D. Playing then 7 on the G string, and then 9 vibrato. From that 9 vibrato, we're playing 9 again, pull off 7, 9, then go to 9 on the D, and then barring 7 on the G and B string, quarter note bend. And then we're moving on to the D string, pull off 9 to 7, 9 on the A, 7 vibrato. So we're alternating between these licks. So after that first time you bend the 7 on the G and B, you then go to pull off 9 to 7 on the D, 9A, 7 vibrato on the D, then you're gonna go pull off hammer on 9, 7, 9 on the D, and then again bend, repeat, and on that last repeat you're going to play G string, pull off 7, hammer on 9. Then you have the last section on this tab. Here we are scratching the strings twice and then alternating between scratch with our right hand and barring the D, G, and B string 7. So we have 2 string scratches and then 7 bar. And then we alternate between one scratch on the strings and the bar on the 7. And notice the pattern on my right hand. At some point I'm playing the bar with an upstroke. Then you have string scratch twice, bar 7, string scratch once, and then 7 this time barring from the G all the way to the high E string. We're at the final stretch of this solo. Let's take a look at the first 2.5 bars. Okay, here we're sliding onto the 19th note vibrato on the high E string. And then we're moving on to the 21 at neutral position, so not bending. Bend, bend again, neutral position, bend, release, bend, release. And then we're going to play hammer on, pull off 19, 21, 19. Then we slide onto the B string 17. We're going to be playing it 4 times. 2 of those times are a bend. So that's twice, slide 17, bend, bend again, release. Now let's take a look at the rest of this tab. So from that bend, release on the 17, we pull off 15, play 16 on the G, and then hammer on 15 to 17 vibrato on the B. From there we play the following. That's 15, 17 on the B string staccato, meaning we play the notes short. 17 bend, release. Pull off 15, 16 vibrato on the G string. And then for the last section, here we have a tiny little dead note before starting on the 14 on the G. That's a hammer on 14 to 16. That's a bend on the 14 vibrato. 12 on the D, 14 on the A, and then 12 on the B string vibrato. That's it for today's lesson, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Please let me know in the comment section below what you think. Be sure to like and subscribe. It really goes a long way in supporting the channel. Stay safe out there, guys, and I'll see you all again in the next video. Peace out.